Hey, what's good fam? In this video, I'm going to break down how I approach resampling a pattern to a pad on the SP-404 MKII. There's levels to this, so first I'll talk about the basic way to do it, then add on to that how to incorporate pattern chain into the process, and finally then how I go about resampling the drums and samples to different pads, pad linking them together so you can run effects on them independently, which is what I was doing in my previous video where I recorded a handful of beats to my reel-to-reel machine, which became my latest EP, Dilapidated Tape. The example I'll be working on today is one of those beats from that project. To keep it simple, over here in Bank J, I have two of the patterns from that joint. Now, before I resample these patterns, I need to show you my bus effects setup. Over here on Bank C are my sample chops. And as you can see by the orange, they're assigned to bus 1. Over here on Bank B are my drums. And as you can see by the green, they're assigned to bus 2. If how this whole bus effects thing is something you still haven't wrapped your head around, I'll drop a link in the description to a video I made on that. Also, if you like these drum samples, they're from my new sample pack, Beefy Grit Drum Stash Volume 2. More info on that in the description also. Next, in the effects settings, I set bus 1 and 2 to parallel mode and load my preset to put cassette sim on bus 3 and compressor on bus 4. Something to note is that when I resample the pattern, the recording will have these bus 3 and 4 effects on it. Right, so to do this, we go into the sequencer, hit resample, select a pad to record to, in this case J1, then hit the first pattern to trigger the recording. And when you're done, you hit record to stop. Now, remember when I said that the bus 3 and 4 effects would be recorded too? Because they're still turned on in effect settings, when I hit this pad, it's going to sound overcompressed because it's getting a second dosage of that cassette sim and compressor. So let's go back into effect settings and bypass bus 3 and 4. And now the beat sounds like it should. So next, let's talk about pattern chain. When I recorded that jam, I had to hit the pattern on pad 1 to start the recording, hit the pattern on pad 2 to cue it up next, then hit record when it was time to stop. The dope thing about using pattern chain is that it takes care of all that for you, so you can focus on messing around with the effects. Here's how to set that up. In the sequencer, hold down the hold button plus an empty pad, in this case pad 3, hit the patterns in the order you want them to play, and make sure to hit remain to set repeat to off. To start a pattern chain, you just hit subpad, and when the chain is done, it'll stop playing the beat and the recording. Before we start though, I'm just going to pop back into effect settings and turn bus 3 and 4 back on. Back in the pattern sequencer, like I did the first time, I hit resample, select a pad to record to, in this case J2, then I load my pattern chain by holding down the hold button and pad 3, and start it off by hitting the sub pad. And there you saw it stopped the recording when the pattern chain was done. Like last time, I'm going to now quickly bypass buses 3 and 4 before listening to the recording. Okay, now to take this one step further and resample the drums and samples to their own separate pads. I do this because in a beat set, I may want to get crazy with the effects on the samples, which are assigned to bus 1, but keep the drums, which are assigned to bus 2, solid and unaffected. The process to do this is exactly the same as the previous recording, with one exception. I want to record just the drums first, so I'm going to use the isolator on bus 1 to mute the samples. I should also mention that in effect settings, bus 3 and 4 I have bypassed. I don't want them right now. So, like before, I hit resample, select a pad to record to, in this case pad 5, load the pattern chain, and hit subpad to start. And now there's my drums. Next, let's record the sample layer, this time muting bus 2 with the isolator. And one last time, hit resample, select a pad to record to, in this case J6, load the pattern chain, and hit subpad. Okay, so now to pad link these together. Turn the bus 3 and 4 effects back on. And assign the new drum track to bus 2. Let's hear what we got. Righto, so that's about all there is to that. Thanks heaps for watching, and get at me in the comments if you have any questions about why I did what I did. Laters.